So here in this second part of the lecture, let us understand how do we do the construction of the open caissons. As we have seen in the previous slide, the open caisson is also in the shape of the box, which is open at the top and the bottom during construction. So then after sinking to the required depth, a concrete seal is given at the bottom. So let us understand how this sinking process of the open caisson is done at the project site. So in all my slides, I have given all the explanation. So after the class, you can go through my slides and read all the explanation. So now let me explain this entire process with the help of the diagram. So here you can see the diagram of the open caisson. So let me explain what is it. So here you can see this is the open caisson. So you can see this is the open caisson, which is open at the top and the bottom during construction. And we'll see how you do this sinking of the open caisson and how this caisson is brought to the required depth. See, this sinking of this open caisson can be achieved either in a dry environment or from a dewatered construction or by creating an artificial island. So the last approach, that is, we call it as the sand island method, is a popular method for placing the open caisson. So we will be discussing today the sand island method for placing the open caisson. So if you see these open caissons, they will be provided with the cutting edges at the bottom, and this facilitates the sinking process. So in the artificial island method, the first step is you have to make an artificial island of the sand. As you can see here, this is the artificial island of sand. You can see this one, all these dots represents the artificial island of the sand. So you have to make this artificial island of the sand by temporarily you're raising the ground surface above the water level so that you get a relatively dry area for sinking the caisson. So here the size of the island should be sufficient to provide the adequate working space around this caisson. So for construction of this island, so first what we have to do is we need to take a woven mattress, and that mattress must be sink to the river bed. So this mattress, it will give the protection against the score. And after that, say for example, if this is the mattress, so this need to be, it should be sunk to the river bed. So after sunking this mattress, so what we have to do is you need to take that is you have to make a timber staging. That is, the timber staging should be done around the periphery of this island. So this how you do this timber staging. So sheet piles are driven around this enclosed area. So around this enclosed area, the sheet piles are driven. So this mattress, it cut along this inside of the sheet piling, and this inside of the mattress is removed. And so you have a timber staging which is done with the help of the sheet pile, and this area, it is filled with the sands. So then you go for filling with this area with the sand as what you see here. So you're creating an artificial island of the sand. Okay, so that is the first step. Okay, suppose let us say that if you are not possible to create this sort of the dry conditions, or if you are not possible to create this artificial island of sand, then the caisson can be constructed in the slipways or in the barges. That is, barges means boat, and they are towed to the final position by floating. So there the guide piles are used for sinking the first few lifts. So sinking there, it is done through the open water, and it is penetrated into the soil. And here, as the soil is excavated from the dredge wells, the caisson sinks by its own weight. So the excavation is done by means of the dredging with the grab buckets. So the soil, whichever that is near the cutting edge, it can be removed by hand if it is necessary. So during this period of casting a lift and curing, the sinking process should be temporarily stopped. So water jets are occasionally used on the exterior to facilitate the sinking process. Now, when this caisson reaches the desired final depth, its bottom is plugged by providing a concrete seal, which is more commonly done by using the Tremie method. So, after the concrete has fully matured, what we do, the water inside the caisson is pumped out, and then the top surface of the concrete seal is cleaned, and further the concreting is done depending upon the need. See, although here like it is desirable to sink the caissons perfectly that is perfectly, it should be done vertically, but sometimes it is very difficult to sink to its true position. So you have to take some corrective measures whenever the tilting occurs. So this is how like you do the sinking of the open caissons. So one method is the sand island method. The second one, it can be done by floating it in, by floating this boxes in the barges, or like in the slipways. You can just float, and then you can make the caissons to sink into the position. So these are the ways by which you can do the sinking of the caissons, and upon reaching the final depth, you have to seal the bottom with the concrete, and then after sealing the concrete, the inside of the water is pumped out. So this is how you do the construction of the open caisson. I hope the process is clear to you. So I have explained to you clearly the artificial island method for placing the open caisson. So here let us see what are the advantages of the open caissons. So here the advantages are, it is possible to extend to the larger depth, and here the cost of construction is also relatively low. But we'll see what are the disadvantages of the open caissons. See, the bottom of the caisson cannot be inspected and thoroughly cleaned. So here the concrete seal is necessarily placed in the water, and that may not be satisfactory. And you need the help of the drivers for doing the excavation near the haunches, especially at the cutting edges. If the obstructions of the boulders or logs are encountered, and the work will be slowed down significantly. So these are the disadvantages of the open caisson. I hope you understood clearly this the construction operations involved in this